Greetings, enlightened ones. Thank you for joining your generic store brand Reverend. In today's video, we are going to be going over a genre that I want to call is Darkwave Pop. And before we get into the video, I would like to let you guys know, thank you so much for your tremendous support. A couple of you guys in the Goth community, as well as in the car community here. You guys have just been helping me a lot mentally. Honestly, like, I was in the shitter when I first started to get back into YouTube, and if you guys have seen some of my older content, I was just really in a dark place in my life. I would say that I'm still kind of there, but not so much. I feel like my head's getting a little bit more clear. Hell, even at my job, I'm starting to see a little bit more clarity with the way that my work ethic is now. So you guys have been helping me tremendously, and that's all because of you guys. So I want to thank you all for that, and honestly, just working within this job and getting away from the corporate environment that I used to be in, I think I really needed a big reset. So thank you all, and especially from the positivity from my recent video too. Even though I had a little bit of some negative in there, you know, that video was never meant to be like negative. It was more satirical, but also voicing, you know, a little bit of an issue that we were kind of having within the community. I will say with a lot of the talking points that I had, they weren't perfect, and I think a lot of people took a lot of what I said in the negative version of it, or a negative light, which was not really my intention. But all I was saying was, I had like at least one dude in like trying to argue with me, and I'm sure he might be watching this video. Look, dude, I don't understand why you just didn't understand what it is I was trying to say. I understand that the LS platform is a overused platform in itself too, but it was, what I was trying to say was the 5.0 Coyote, being that it is now so overused and so overdone in a lot of the car scene now, it was that the joke was that I'd be more impressed to see an LS motor into a Mustang than it would be a 5.0 at this point, even though both of them are an overused engine. So, you know, if you don't get the joke, you don't get the joke. I'm not going to argue over this shit. I know you sent me a long fucking comment, and I never even fucking read it and gave you a thumbs up because I just didn't give a fuck anymore at that point. It's exactly proves my point. People are just tribalistic by nature, and they always have to be right, and you're always fucking wrong, and you can never be right. And so you've pretty much proven my point. But with all that bullshit out of the way, so let's get into this genre here that I was mentioning that I feel like is kind of becoming a little popular in a lot of the younger crowd, I would say. And I'm in my 30s, so I'm not really young. I'm not as young as I used to be, but I still like a lot of what the younger generation is producing now. You know, they've obviously taken the mantle and they're starting to produce their version of, you know, goth rock, darkwave, and putting their own spin on it, right? Which I'm totally for it. You know, like, I think having a different style of things is totally cool. Darkwave, as you guys know, is one of my biggest and favorite, most favorite genre that I have, you know, outspoken about in previous videos. God damn it. Fucking hate that mount on there. I can't screw shit into this place because I don't own this fucking place. That fucking mount is supposed to hold up to 15 pounds. That damn picture ain't even worth 15 pounds, and yet it still falls. Anyways, back onto the Darkwave thing. But yes, my connection with Darkwave, there's just something about it that connects with me on like a spiritual level. It's the way that the lyrics are produced. It's very melodic and but dark in a way. Like, it's very beautiful with the way that Darkwave is produced when it's produced correctly. And I resonate with it a lot within, you know, the turmoil that I've had in my life. So I think that's a lot of the reason why I swing with Darkwave. But with this version of Darkwave that, you know, artists like MIDI Memory, Flower Babe, The Mask, I wish I can show you guys these artists, but unfortunately copyright and all that shit, unless they give me the green light to showcase their music, unfortunately I can't show you any of this stuff. But I will have links in the description below of these artists, so if you guys are interested in these artists and what I'm talking about, you'll get a listen for them and you'll be like, oh, okay, I understand what he's trying to say. But yeah, The Mask especially, I'm really into. At first I wasn't really digging it, and then I had to keep listening to it, and I was like, okay, this is very catchy. I really do like the way that this dude produces music. And the way that The Mask, this dude, produces the music is just very rhymey, very repetitive, and usually I'm not into a lot of repetitive music. I'm actually more into music that just flows. It just keeps flowing, and it's not too repetitive. It's just the way that it's made, it just works, right? This is the reason why I don't like, well, EBM, electric body music, or cyber goth stuff. Like, I really don't like that stuff, and unfortunately I've talked shit on it in the past, but you know what, everybody can like what they like. I don't really mind EBM so much. I mean, I'm more into agrotech, which is almost on the spectrum of EBM. I just like agrotech a little bit better. Bands like Cyclone 9, I would say, is something that I'm more interested in, just because the way that Cyclone 9 produces his music is it's not very repetitive, and the beats are always changing and it's always ramping up essentially. And when you have clubs like Numbers claiming that they're going to play Darkwave, Goth Rock, Death Rock, and then they don't play it that night, I get really pissed off and I start hating what they're playing. And usually it's a lot of electric body music and shit like that, when that's not why I'm there to hear that music. But anyways, I digress. But the way that Mass produces his music is it's very catchy, very repetitive, and very poppy, but it's still on the same spectrum as Darkwave. And then you have another artist that I'm really infatuated with as well, which is Flower Babe, and he's more poppy, and it always kind of changes. It's not too repetitive, while still staying on that, again, that spectrum of Darkwave. It's kind of like heartbreak, breakup music within the Darkwave genre, I guess, is the way that Flower Babe kind of produces his music. And then the way that Mass produced his poppy version of Darkwave would be like something you would listen to on a midnight drive on, let's say, the highway or the freeway. You also have MIDI Memory too, which is kind of poppy as well. I'm not too into his music as much as I am with the other two artists, but if you listen to his stuff too, it's very similar on that same kind of genre, and I feel like Spotify is going to eventually recommend a lot more of this type of Darkwave, which, you know, I'm all for it at the end of the day. I don't feel like this type of genre is going to be for everybody. I know a lot of people aren't really into the Goth Pop aspect of that genre, or, you know, just a lot of poppy versions of genres that get in within the alternative scene. But with a lot of these younger generations, as mentioned, that are taking the mantle now, I don't really have a problem with it. I'm actually kind of enjoying it, even though I'm in my 30s. I'm not really a boomer and stuck in my ways of having to always listen to the Sisters of Mercy or any of the old classics. Honestly, I do like a lot more of the indie stuff that does come out versus a lot of the older stuff. I still have the appreciation, because obviously you have to have your foundation, right? You always have to appreciate the foundation that led up to what we have today, right? I mean, Roz Williams with Christian Death, right? He's like one of the biggest founders of like the death rock scene, for example. Susie and the Banshees, Ogre from Skinny Puppy, all those guys are legendary that have created a lot of what we have today. And without them, I mean, I don't know where the fuck we would be in the alternative scene. Which is exactly why I wish a lot of these DJs within the club scene would actually play a lot of the indie artists and stop playing the overplayed shit that we've already heard 1,000 times. But yeah, guys, this is just going to be a really short and sweet video, and it's more of just to gain a little bit of some recognition within this genre of music, I guess. And, you know, like I said, it may not be for you guys, but if you are interested, I will have the artists in the description below, so that way you guys can give them a listen for yourself and, you know, make that determination whether or not you guys like them as well. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And again, I say it again, thank you all for all your amazing support. I don't know where the hell I would be. The motivation to continuously try to make content for you all is definitely increasing a little bit, and I've tried to stay as consistent as possible. There are days where I'm like, I'll do it next weekend, but you know what? Here it is midnight right now, and I'm trying to get this video out for you guys, so I'm losing sleep for work tomorrow, so that way I can at least be on top of my game and just, you know, try to get a little bit of something out there for y'all. So again, guys, thank you all for your amazing support. You all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.